Brighten up those already bright mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Good morning. Welcome to Mornings at the Cabin. I am Wheeler. That over there is Lecter. You can't see where I'm pointing. Over there is Ollie. We are in the general vicinity of each other to talk to each other this morning. This is what we do. This is what we get out of bed every morning for. To come in here and speak vaguely on things that we barely understand. And then Ollie explains them to us, and they're not as funny anymore. And that's fine. That's what I like to do. How's it going, guys?
That's what I like to do.
I know it is. I know it is. I know you like to be in a position of authority, especially when it comes to knowledge. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Here's Jesse. I'm just going to put him in his place over here.
Look there. Behind all the controls. That's your place.
Behind all the controls.
In charge.
Yeah, and then toss all that stuff on top of him.
You happy little chappy.
What?
A happy little chappy.
Oh,
Chappie.
Okay. I was like, good Lord. Not a good movie, Chappie. It was okay. Do we know Neil Blomkamp's work very much in this studio?
The whole of that sentence is...
You've seen District 9.
Means no.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
You've seen District 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did District 9, and then he did Elysium, and then he did Chappie. Chappie is the one with the artificial intelligence and the robot.
I actually saw Elysium, too.
Elysium's a great idea.
Yeah.
Where, like, the rich inhabit a ring around the planet.
Yeah.
As opposed to inhabiting the planet anymore.
That does sound like a great idea.
Well, it does, doesn't it? I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there with wealth inequality and access to health care. I mean, the rich are just going to kind of live in their own little bubble, and the rest of us will suffer horribly. Good morning, everyone. Access to health care is a real problem.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
I'm in the middle of a move, and I am disenchanted. Not disenfranchised, but definitely disenchanted with the whole move thing. Disemboweled a little bit, yeah.
Discombobulated.
Discombobulated, absolutely.
Dysfunctional.
Discontented.
Discomforted.
Droid.
Morning show is going off the rails.
No, it's fine. It hasn't even gotten on the rails
All
yet.
right.
Okay.
Get it
so
going.
There were rails?
There were rails. Yeah, we've blasted them all morning. In a wildfire, if a wildfire comes, this story you put up yesterday.
Yes.
So if a wildfire comes, because obviously the wildfire season has been pretty active so far, and especially in northern Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a couple of evacuations. High Level got evacuated. Indian Cabins was evacuated, and they got pushed north into Hay River and things like that. And we were a lot of people wondering what would happen if that happened, if a fire got close enough to Hay River. What happens if Hay River has to evacuate? What happens if Yellowknife has to evacuate? Of course, in 2014, just before I moved back, there was a very active wildfire season here in and around the region, and there was talk of what would happen if Yellowknife had to be evacuated. And of course, we all jump into Center Square Mall, surround ourselves with sandbags, and just hope for the best.
So there was a news report in summer 2014, by another news organization, which shall not be named. I was not here at the time. That was broadcast nationally and caused a wee bit of panic, shall we say.
What?
Because it appeared to suggest that the residents of Yellowknife, in the event of a wildfire, would be sort of all herded into the middle of town.
And
an earthen berm would be built around them, and that would be what would stop the wildfire. That is not quite the plan. The plan, as it stands...
there is a plan.
There is a plan.
Oh.
So if you live anywhere else in the Northwest Territories, the plan is basically to ultimately evacuate to Yellowknife.
Yes.
Smallest communities, things like Kakiza, for example, would initially evacuate to Hay River.
Yeah.
Then, if Hay River was threatened, you would evacuate to Yellowknife, and you would either do that by vehicle or there'd be an airlift. And there's a big plan for that. There is no plan to swim Great Slave Lake.
Oh, well.
Although, you know what? I imagine if push came to shove, you would probably have some people evacuating by lake, depending on the time of year.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, depending on the time of year. I mean, if it happened during winter, which it wouldn't, but I mean, yeah.
Well, it depends what the evacuation is for.
Yes.
If the city's lost power in winter.
Yeah.
That's also, there are like winter storms and loss of power. Like, for example, Inuvik has a plan to evacuate if it loses gas in winter.
Everybody goes to Dez's house.
That's what he uses. Everybody goes to Dez's house and uses his time portal. That's how he gets everything done. So
he's traveling again today, by the way.
Of course he is. Of course he is. I mean, he's traveling. I mean, he keeps up this pretense that he's using like public human travel forms.
No.
But he just steps into a portal and
Yeah.
arrives in Toronto and does some movie thing. Good old Des Lurie. He'll be on the air tonight.
Wonderful.
Destro show from 10 o'clock tonight from whichever universe he's in.
Live from Amsterdam.
Yep, live from the 19th dimension. So look forward to that.
That's a good
Yellowknife,
one.
the evacuation plan,
Yeah.
is not to evacuate. And the reason
Absolutely.
for that is if you tried evacuating, it's almost certainly going to go really wrong really quickly.
Yep.
There is one road south. It's not the world's greatest road.
What?
There is not a lot of fuel.
Come on.
All it's going to take, let's imagine, how many thousands of vehicles would be heading down that road in evacuation? It
3,000
doesn't
to
even bear
4,000
thinking about.
vehicles.
One of those vehicles breaks down, that's your road system gone.
Yep.
And how's somebody going to get to that vehicle to assist it? They're going to have a hell of a time because there's going to be hundreds of vehicles backed up behind it. And then suddenly your evacuation is a disaster zone because you've got hundreds of vehicles backed up. It doesn't even bear thinking about. It would not. I don't know. I've broken down on that highway.
Yeah.
You've broken down that highway? Virtually everybody I know has broken down on that highway at least once. So all it takes is two of those to happen.
Absolutely.
And that evacuation is going very, very badly.
Yeah.
Air evacuation
It's
is
not
going to take
feasible.
hundreds of flights. We already know it takes 90 minutes to get 100 people through security at an airport onto a plane. Imagine 19,000 lining up at an airport trying to get out of here. It would take forever and be incredibly difficult to coordinate
Yes.
and expensive. And where are we flying everybody? So there's a lot to that as well. So instead, if you look at where a wildfire comes from, if it comes from the north, it's got to get across giant mines, tailings ponds, which are an immense unnatural fire break because there are no trees and there's no vegetation. So that's a big help to the city. South, con mine, tailings ponds, same thing. And there's also not much forest south before you get to the lake.
Also lake, yeah, exactly.
East of the city, lake.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about that. So it's really the west. Airfield is partly a fire break there, which is useful. And the city does a lot of its fire smarting, where it trims back the vegetation and makes sure there's not a lot that can burn on the west side of the city for this precise reason. So there's really only the west-southwest that a wildfire could reasonably come at the city from with any real threat. And so what you would do is you would move residents from those affected areas to the field house, the multiplex, the schools, the usual shelter areas, while you send your firefighters to create additional fire breaks and hold the line on those few areas of the city that are particularly vulnerable, and you wait it out. And the city's former director of public safety, Dennis Marchiori, was on CBC 3 years ago explaining this, and they asked him, well, what happens if the fire is just too overwhelming, and it breaks through all of that, and it takes over the city? At that point, it's hard to imagine, the high-level wildfire didn't do that.
Yeah,
the high-level
that's right.
wildfire is huge. And even the Fort McMurray wildfire didn't burn the whole city to the ground.
Yeah.
It did some damage,
Yeah.
sure, but it's pretty difficult for wildfires to cross massive urban areas.
And there's a lot denser forest around high level and around
Completely different forest environment. Yellowknife doesn't have, everybody knows what the trees look like up here. They're pretty small because we're at the top of the tree line almost. So you're not looking at a high-level Fort McMurray situation because your forest is really different as well.
Yeah.
Now, it's not to say there can't be a big wildfire. It's not to say there can't be a threatening wildfire. The odds of a wildfire completely overwhelming the city of Yellowknife and burning its way to Franklin Avenue, pretty slim.
Yeah.
If it did happen, they'd call the federal government in, and the federal government would then trigger some sort of mass airlift. But it wouldn't be done by the city or the territory. The end.
Okay.
Would that be a purple alert?
That would be Bob McLeod, purple flashing alert.
Purple
as he likes to
flashing
call
alert.
it.
Okay.
The purple people leader. Well, thank you very much for that that
was
explanation.
thorough.
It was thorough
Man.
and not as exciting as I hoped it would be.
Yellowknife threatened by a wildfire is not an exciting thing. Everybody, listen very carefully. Go home.
Stay in your homes.
Go home. And
Try not to
stay
breathe.
at home
Yeah.
and enjoy your facilities. The one thing I should add is...
Enjoy your facilities. Go to the mall. See a movie.
The one thing I should add is have enough stuff for 3 days. Simple rule for anybody living here, have enough stuff for 3 days. That is what the city recommends. Enough food, enough whatever. Just have enough to get you through 3 days while the city figures out and gets its emergency plans ramped up in the event of something sudden happening.
Someone posted a link in the comments on that story to some food kit service. So there you go.
There you go.
You're hooked up.
I've got pizza pops to last me 3 days.
I actually,
Good.
I went to that website, the one that they posted. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see this link under our story.
Yeah.
Somebody shared this link to a survival kit manufacturer.
Yes.
They had a beautiful little blurb on their front page, which is every Canadian family should be prepared for an emergency like a tornado or an earthquake or a natural disaster.
Or zombies.
Zombies for
well,
sure.
It kind of went that way. Or, one of the more pressing economic emergencies, like, world hunger. And it just sort of, it immediately, departed into, it sort of started with, everyday natural disasters and very quickly became apocalyptic. So they were pushing their point a little by the end of it, I thought. We were almost at zombies.
They had to cut themselves off mid-description. Okay, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we also sell grenade launchers,
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Wheeler, Ollie Lecter with you on your Thursday morning, joined by Sarah Price. How is it going, Sarah?
It is pretty good.
Good. Very good. You took a gulp there. Were you thinking of something else? It is...
Yeah, thinking of slow pitch.
No, were you thinking of slow pitch? Fair enough.
Oh, can I read out? Let me read out last night. Let me read out last night's slow pitch text message.
Okay.
Cabin Radio slow pitch team last night. Did you guys win?
Nope.
Of course not.
You haven't won since I've been playing.
No.
Since I last played,
you,
that's the last win we have.
Yeah.
What was the final score?
Final score was 25-12.
How are you
that's
doing
not
that?
So Sarah, this is the second time this week that I've enjoyed the Sarah Price text play-by-play on the game. There are 4 messages. I'll read them out to you. It's so cold, the high fives hurt.
It was chilly.
Yeah, wasn't great.
Sometimes the ball comes toward me, but I never catch it. Penny is digging a hole under the bleachers.
Oh, pen.
Followed by, and this is the final one, the crowning glory. I walked to first and then forgot to run when Nicole hit the ball, so I was out.
Well, that was hilarious because I don't know that you forgot to run. I think you were on first, and then Nicole hit the ball, and you started running to second, and you realized that the guy was going to catch the ball in between second and first, and you were like, nope, head back to first. And we were like, no, Sarah can't
only
do that.
one base open.
I like what you're thinking. Just stay away from the person with the ball.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's always a learning experience with the Cabin Radio slow pitch team,
That was embarrassing.
Yeah. Real high learning
Somehow
curve on
made
this
it
team.
through.
Yeah.
I want to play. I do. I'm moving right now, so that's why I haven't played in the last week. But I am terrified. I'm terrified of injuring myself before I go on this trip. And because Phoenix has just dozens of hours of hikes planned. This
is Ireland and Scotland.
Right? Ireland and Scotland. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
leaving on the 16th.
Yeah, you got okay. So you got 2.5 weeks
Yes.
to keep yourself intact.
Yes, and I can't do that. But I mean, the last game we played, I pulled something in my groin. That was just running around second.
You're just preparing your groin for all that running around bases
right.
on the hikes.
That's right. That's why I did it. That's why I didn't stretch properly. I pulled my groin. It's see, that's what's going to happen.
That's right.
Just preparing you.
Get ready, groin.
I talked to my
You
groin.
know what? I'm not concerned.
Are you not?
I think you'll be fine.
I don't think so.
I'm not worried about you.
No.
You're
I feel
a
I'd be-
high-performance athlete.
I'm okay. All right. That's not necessary.
Meanwhile, Ollie is over here in the corner, also part of the team, but has
Yeah.
never made it to a game.
Never made it to a game.
Also, I happened to notice, I wasn't going to bring this up, but and I noticed you were feeling guilty about it enough that you sent
I
me
saw
2
the
messages.
look on your face. I was driving back from the studio last night, 10 minutes before the game was due to start.
As I rounded the corner to come pick up the bats and stuff, and I see Ollie pulling out, and I kind of pointed him like, hey, on your way out, huh? You got a slow pitch game. Just out the way.
Come on.
You're going to make it.
That's right.
I implied that all with a point at him. And
Honestly?
he read the entire message and, sent me 2 messages explaining why he wasn't going to be at slow.
And
It
then
was
just-
a look that
just
could
the word,
kill. A
just the
look
word.
that could kill, and I have never seen anything like that from Lecter. It was a look of, you are dead to me.
I see you. I better see you at Fritz Field.
Yeah,
I
so
like
just wanted to point that out if you're going to read out all my embarrassing texts from the game.
That's
At
right.
least I was
Well
there.
done.
That's right.
No,
She was
thanks.
there.
I have so
participating.
enjoyed this last couple of minutes underneath that bus.
Thank you for that, Sarah. We almost let
How
that
is it
slip by.
that buzz? And he'll send that text message saying why he can't come.
Yes.
And then one word: apologies.
Apologies.
Not I apologize for not coming, but apologies, which I like. I started to use that too. I'll just say apologies, and I won't even write anything else. I'll just write apologies and then just leave it.
Yeah. Usually you've got other stuff. This time you were like, well, the thing I expected to go long ended early, so
I thought the deal
I
was
can't be there.
I thought the deal was that once you had 10, that was your team, and you couldn't like add an 11.
Yeah, but you can have as many as you want, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that was the idea going in. That was when I thought that we might have an issue with having too many people show up. That issue has not come to fruition.
No.
So if we had extra people show up, I would be overjoyed.
Okay, I did not understand that the rule had changed. Okay,
So we'll see you at the next game.
That's right.
No. When is the next game?
Tuesday.
Let me quickly arrange something.
I might be able to do that on Tuesday.
That'll be
Hey.
Jimmy's coming in to record.
Right.
Oh, that you know what? This is completely off topic, but that does remind me that we have to go to the BK on Saturday.
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy's 15th anniversary.
That's right.
Jim Taylor, 15th anniversary Yellowknife show. We are going to be recording that as well.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to be moving. I'm going to be moving all day, so by the time that's done, I will definitely need a pop and a steak. That'll be good.
This is a long-winded break to plug Jimmy's 15th anniversary.
Particularly
The
as we
worst
initially-
segue ever. I mean, we
had
didn't
come
even
into this
even
expecting to
reference
talk
Irish
about-
music. Huh?
No, you carry on.
No,
talking.
you please do.
Oh, okay, thanks. Did we not come into this expecting to talk about foxes?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's right.
We'll do
But
that
here-
next.
Next break.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll do that next break then, I guess. If you'd like to see the Cabin Radio Slow Pitch team coming out Tuesday, we are mired in a 5-game losing streak and are still learning to play the game of baseball.
Scenes from the cabin.
Well, you can believe Mr. Pecker.
My name is Peck.
Or you can accept the fact that this city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament biblical, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming from the sky. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough. I get the point. What if you're wrong?
If I'm wrong, nothing happens. We go to jail peacefully, quietly. We'll enjoy it. But if I'm right, and we can stop this thing, Lenny, you will have saved the lives of millions of registered voters.
I don't believe you are seriously considering listening to these men.
Get him out of here.
Bye.
I'll fix you, Venkman. I'm going to fix
I'm
you.
going to send him a nice fruit basket. I'm going to miss him.
Scenes from the cabin.
Know the movie? Submit your guest to mailbox at cabinradio.ca or send us a message on Facebook for your chance to win gift certificates to some awesome Yellowknife restaurants, including Zehabesha, Main Street Pizza, The Woodyard Eatery, Copperhouse Restaurant, and Javaroma. Listen to Cabin Radio every weekday to win or download the Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Joined once again by Sarah. Sarah, you've decided to stick around. This is unprecedented in my morning show. Like when I'm here, usually you're not. When they're here, usually you're here.
You have detected that trend, I see.
Yes, I have. I have detected a trend. That's fine. I know it's really tough being around me. One of the top stories on our Facebook page this morning is someone is feeding Yellowknife's foxes.
Sarah.
Stop doing that. Sarah, are you feeding foxes?
No.
Why not?
Penny.
I don't know
what?
why. Ollie's trying to throw me under the bus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you
Last
threw
break
him
when
under
I
the bus.
said
That's
he
right.
wasn't at the slow pitch. but-
That's right. He wasn't at slow pitch. He's not feeding foxes. What are you doing here anyway? But yeah, so the fox. I mean, if you've noticed, obviously, in the last when I was a kid, let me just slow everything down here for a second. When I was a
When
kid,
I was a fox.
when I was a fox, when I was a kit, there weren't as many like just foxes in and around town. There just weren't. You'd see the occasional one, and now you see them all the time. They've kind of moved into the city limits a lot more, and you tend to see them on a daily basis. I saw one. There's one that hangs around Niven that doesn't have a tail, and we were having our garage sale on Sunday, and it just came within about 5 feet of us without just kind of didn't like creep up like he was trying to like get something. He just kind of walked up, hey,
Just
going
very
on?
comfortably.
So I kind of looked at it and I gave it a scat, and it didn't go away. I had to like literally one towards it. I'm a scat man.
Yeah,
I'm a scat man. Yeah, no, and Fox,
some scat.
and the fox just kind of started bopping along with it, just bopping along, trying to wag his tail that doesn't exist. The point being is that like these foxes are starting to get real damn comfortable around human beings, and that is not a good thing. I've heard some reports. I've seen some posts on Facebook about foxes grabbing cats, foxes grabbing small dogs. We haven't reported on that yet. Is there some reason we're hiding that information? I don't know. Maybe we're pro-fox. A little too pro-fox. That's right.
Bit of an agenda.
Yeah,
Fox and friends.
Fox and friends. That's what we are here at Cabin. We're owned by the Chinese. We're bought by the GNWT, and we're pro-fox. That's how it is. So who's feeding the foxes, Ollie? What's going on?
Somebody over Twin Pine Hill, 44th Street, that area of town.
New people. Yeah.
ENR is deeply unimpressed because there is definitely a Fat Fox Cafe down there somewhere.
The same ENR who threw a dead dog into it.
I was not going to bring that up.
No, you weren't.
And so they are asking people, please do not feed the foxes.
Please don't.
Because it's against the law.
Yeah.
If you need any other reason, it's illegal.
And once they become habituated, guess what has to happen to them? They either get relocated or they get euthanized. So, yay.
Or somebody sings scat at them at a garage sale on a Saturday morning, and they leave traumatized.
Yeah, well, when you fit... Or a little Fats Waller. No? All right. So, yeah, so that was
Who
a little...
Are you calling a little fat swallow?
Not Fat Swallow. Fats Waller. So that was a little disconcerting to have that fox come up so close and not be afraid whatsoever until I trundled towards it. And then it kind of scattered away, but like slowly.
It scattered away.
It scattered away. It started to scat. It was a scat battle. I was like, skibbity bitty bitty bop bop bop, and the fox was like, skibbity bop bop bop, skibbity bop bop bop, and then kind of casually walked across the street.
Dropped the mic.
Yeah, that's right.
Headed out.
Dropped his tail and left. We've broken Ollie. But no, it didn't even run away. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go. See ya. And just kind of like looked back towards me as it kind of slowly made its way across the street. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, you got to the end of I'm a Scat Man, and he was like, well, there's nowhere else to go from here. I guess I'll just leave.
That's the one scat song that anybody knows. So we're done.
If there's one thing foxes are good at, it's jazz improvisation. So what do we do?
I feel like
just one moment. Some other wildlife is in grave danger here. Penny, get off the trophy.
Penny's eating the trophy.
Penny's eating the cabin with the game's trophy, which is entirely made of tasty tree.
So there have been some interesting comments on the story already.
Oh, the fox story. Yep.
Yeah. YKers have been doing that at the old Bison Estate since I lived here in the 90s. Stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one guy, a friend of mine who I went to school with, who now lives in China. Seriously? Oops. I used to share my potato chips with them. They were surprisingly friendly. Yep. Because you were feeding them, Jeff. That's what happens.
There's an old folks home in my neighborhood that
filled with foxes.
Well, kind of, yeah, because periodically you'll see foxes just hanging out in the front yard, and it's annoying. It would have been charming to me like when I first moved here, but now I'm a few years in, and I've got 2 dogs, and now it's annoying whenever I see foxes.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be one of the most charming things about Yellowknife is you could be walking down the sidewalk. And you just have a fox just walking the opposite way, and it was almost like you were just like, hey, just, a pleasant little acknowledgement of each other, and you go on your merry way.
That fox is habituated, Lecter.
He's getting older. He's lost his tail. He's not looking so good these days. And now I get annoyed because, when you have 2 dogs and a fox comes the other way and approaches you, your dogs go ballistic.
Yep.
And you have to try and keep control of them. But, yes, there is an old folks home in my neighborhood that foxes tend to hang out in sometimes. And I realized after a while it was because there's this window that just finds its way open sometimes. And when there's a fox in the yard, or sometimes a random dog in the yard, there will be bits of food thrown out the window. However, if there's seagulls hanging around or ravens hanging around because of those remnants of food, you'll see a broom come out the window and start wagging at the birds. So, Yeah, clearly.
That person is a jerk. That is a jerk person.
It's entertaining.
It's entertaining.
I will
Stop
say
throwing
that.
food out your window, for God's sake.
It's a strange thing to look out your window and see a broom hanging out someone else's window.
Cabin Radio News. The
Jackass.
Department of Environment and Natural Resources has arrested an 87-year-old this morning. They thank Cabin Radio for the tip.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Get these octogenarians off the street.
Just doing my part.
Shannon, our good friend Shannon, Shannon Moore, 1 to 4, just shared a little link with me in our messenger here. What scat can tell you about your wildlife neighbors? Because scat, of course, is also their poop.
Yes.
Now, when I say scat, it's usually just, scat, scat, scat. It's like to get a cat away or to improvise a little jazz.
Who knew the word scat could be so convenient for so many purposes?
Very versatile
Scatological
word.
Scat. Yeah, that's right. Skibbity-bit-bop. And she just sent me, this what their poop can tell you. So here we go.
Great.
See,
Here's the next
Fox.
50 minutes of the show.
Fox, it just looks super dry. Scat is approximately 2 inches long and half an inch in diameter with pointy ends. It may contain hair, bones, insects, berry seeds, and undigested fruits, and possibly
Have some
potato chips.
self-respect, Fox.
Potato chips, peanuts, whatever else you're throwing out your window.
Dentures.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Ollie, you are participating in Celebrity Story Time at the Yellowknife Public Library. Tell us a little bit about that.
Tonight at 5 o'clock. There's
5
gonna be
o'clock.
Pizza
Pizza,
and
beer,
and juice
juice.
for the adults as well.
Oh, good.
And we're gonna
Finally.
Finally.
Something for the adults.
Finally, something for the adults.
We're going to
there.
read some stories.
Yeah.
Sing some songs.
Which stories are you going to read?
So I'll tell you right now. There's a whole bunch of stories, like 10 stories. So I'm going to give you highlights.
That's a big building, 10 stories.
The opening story will be The Pigeon Wants a Puppy.
Don't know what that is.
The Hungry Lion.
No.
Okay.
Can someone scratch my back, please?
Don't know that one.
The
That's not a
personable
story.
fox.
That's a request. No, it is a story.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Don't know that one.
There's a story called A Pizza, or just that was just
That
thrown
was
in there,
part
there's
of the
gonna
story
be
name.
Pizza there.
Okay.
I love you like a pig.
No.
What?
And that is not a good idea.
No, none of those I know.
Would you like to hear the songs?
Yes.
So, first song will be Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
Uh-huh.
And that'll be done with puppets.
Good.
So
Okay.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Tiny Tim.
What?
Row your boat.
Okay.
Tiny Tim.
Purple Stew. And the goodbye song will be Bread and Butter. And I know, like, one of those 5 songs.
Yeah.
And it's Old MacDonald
Maybe 10.
Had a Farm. And you barely know that. Can you sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm for us?
Absolutely. Old MacDonald. He
Had a farm for sure.
Yeah.
It
That's how that
had
goes,
some
right?
pigs, and they went oink, oink, oink.
Il avait
So do you actually have to sing the songs, or is there
Yeah, I
someone
do,
there?
but I have help from people who know the songs better than I do.
Do you know Old MacDonald Had a Farm?
Yes.
Please sing it.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
No,
No.
that's Twinkle Twinkle Little
Old
Star.
MacDonald had a farm.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And on this farm, he had a
Cow
E-I-E-I-O.
with a
Moo.
moo.
With a moo. With a moo.
It's a stuttering.
Can we not just
Moo.
do? Can we not just do scat?
With a skitty bitty bitty bop 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 bop.
I feel like if we just did Scatman Shot to the whole of the crowd of 3 and 4 year olds, that would be a more entertaining
Old MacDonald
evening.
had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Well, I mean, it's-
And on this farm, he had a scat man.
Well, I mean,
Skibbity bitty bop bop bop.
it's your celebrity story time.
That's right.
I think you could feel free to hijack it however you want.
Oh, and well, here's the other question. Who's the celebrity?
Oh. Yesterday, on Twitter, the City of Yellowknife, you're second to that joke. City of Yellowknife put it on Twitter yesterday, like, celebrity story time, Hollywood's coming, and somebody wrote, I just put asterisk, local celebrity.
No.
What a jerk ass.
Yeah, right?
Who was it?
Who would do such a thing?
Who put asterisk?
Who would do that? It was
Yeah,
you.
but we're almost friends. So I mean, like that's
You see, when you do it to me, it's
Yeah.
because we're friends.
That's right.
When I do it to you, it's because I'm mean and horrible and you
yeah,
hate me.
yeah, absolutely. Because I punch up, Ollie. You punch down. But whoever did that on Twitter is a jerk. Who was it?
I don't know.
Tell me who it was. Right
Can't
now.
remember.
I'm going to find out right now.
Go for it.
All right.
All right, so Jesse will spend the next 5 minutes deciding
Wait, so
I have to download the Twitter app. Just give me a second.
Okay, yeah.
So
Because nobody has that anymore.
so it wasn't Jesse?
No, it wasn't.
No, I'm not on Twitter.
Oh, I thought it was
The last
you.
tweet I ever sent was to Air Canada going, hey, just do something. And they didn't. That was it. I haven't used Twitter since.
Doesn't hold a candle to my last tweets.
What was what?
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
was
we've
what?
we
done
read
that.
them out
Oh, that's
last
right.
week.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I was on fire when I went out. I went out.
You went out on
Like
in
a
a
champ.
blaze of glory.
Yeah,
That's
May,
right.
May 2017 with a series of one-liners about inconsequential things, and then left Twitter alone.
Yeah,
Until-
well,
until
most
Margaret
people are
Atwood
leaving
came
Twitter
along.
alone.
Yeah.
Well, that's really fun, though. That's awesome that you got asked to do it. I didn't. But that you get to do it, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For you.
I'm going to have a bunch of fun.
And for the
5 o'clock
for the
tonight.
kids, I'm sure will be wrapped.
Come on, Dad. Penny's going to be there.
Penny's gonna be there.
He's going to be rapping?
I feel like, no, wrapped.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
He will have wrapped.
In scat.
Oh, you're bringing wrapped in scat.
Yeesh.
Good Lord.
Yikes.
I'm trying to camouflage yourself. In the
Yeah,
wilderness.
Penny's gonna be down.
Penny's going to be. I feel like that's
Probably
cheating.
only going for the pizza. But
Oh, so that's the local celebrity then.
Yeah.
Penny.
Penny.
Pretty much.
Yeah, celebrity tours. I feel like that's cheating. I feel like if you bring a puppy and then like, you should have seen the kids. They were so into me telling stories. Like, no, they were into the puppy. That's fine.
She will sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm better than I can.
Probably.
So she's coming down for that.
I do want you to sing it to the tune of "Oh Canada." I think that'd be very funny.
Open mouth parrots around the room as I sing every song. Row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.